Hey guys, JT and Eric here with Performance Golf, and in today's video we're talking about how to shift weight and pressure like the pros. Obviously, JT, learning how to shift your weight and pressure in the golf swing is one of the key indicators as to whether or not you're going to be a good, consistent ball striker. I want to show you in today's video are what the good ball strikers do, kind of a general pattern explanation, plus one or two really big keys and one or two feels that you can take to shift your weight correctly to be able to get that consistent, solid contact. And so JT, I think the first thing that's important when we talk weight, shift, pressure is it's not just how much you do, it's when you do it.
Yes, it's when you do it. That's so important. As we were talking a little bit before, you know, most people really struggle with getting their weight onto their trail leg too late and then getting back onto their lead leg too late. So they're both doing things late in the swing.
That's what poor ball strikers do.
That's what poor ball strikers do.
Okay.
What we want to teach you guys how to do today is shift your pressure into your trail side earlier so that you can get it back into your lead side earlier. Again, both that most amateurs struggle with.
Yeah, and shout out too as we go into this to AMG guys. You haven't seen their video. Athletic Motion Golf did a video on this. Super good. A lot of very cool similar concepts. You might enjoy that as well. JT, why don't you just hit a ball, not even really thinking all that much, just kind of a casual hit here. And so even as we watch him at normal speed, his body's not gonna move like a crazy amount back and through. Mass of his body isn't like going way to the right, and his mass of his body is going some amount to the left, but we're talking about feeling the pressure in the feet, right? When we say shifting earlier, it's not as though there's huge mass movement off the ball, but there is a pretty good shift into the right foot. Let's hit one more, just kind of casual like that, JT. So if you watch him hit, it obviously looks nice and smooth and easy, and he's got that shift going without a huge, motion with the body off the ball. And so JT, if we're saying kind of the higher handicappers or the worst ball strikers, either you don't shift off the ball at all or enough, or tend to do it too late. So it's that early piece that's important.
So what we see with a lot of poor golfers is they're very stagnant, wait on the right leg as they get to the top of their swing, right? And so then they're stuck there, they can't get back to the lead leg, hit the ball fat, all kinds of shots, right? Instead, what we're looking to do is we want to have this pressure shift, weight shift very early. So pretty much by the time the club is parallel to the ground, we want to have a lot of weight on that trail leg.
Yeah, gotcha. And then once we get to that spot, JT, and you want to show them the drill with the tape here? So we got a cool drill. JT's going to set up the tape in the front. And one of the things the AMG guys talked about that I really like, because you can think about shifting weight and pressure in two different ways. It's like, yes, we're getting more weight or pressure into the trail or right foot, but a lot of guys, and kind of what we like to see, is actually thinking about unweighting or taking weight or pressure off the lead foot. And I know we like this drill to feel that.
Yes, awesome. So guys, you can take, we have some tape here. You could take a book, anything that's a couple inches thick, and you're gonna put it right underneath your lead foot. And this is just an early takeaway drill. So you don't necessarily have to hit the ball with this, but the goal really is when you have something underneath this foot here, obviously, if you start pressing down right away, you're going to feel that. And again, you're going to get stuck on that front side, which is what most amateurs do. So instead, what we're looking to feel in this drill is we want to feel like from setup to maybe a little bit past club parallel to the ground, we're not pressing down on this tape we have here at all. Where, if anything, all we're doing is we're having a little bit push off of it, and this thing is lighter. I almost tell people, like, you should be able to lift up your foot pretty easily at this point here.
Yeah, and if there wasn't tape on there, that'd
if there wasn't tape on there, I'd be able to lift it up. So this is just an early takeaway drill, guys, to really help you push off this lead leg, make this foot lighter early on. We see a lot of people basically go too far down and forward to start. You'll feel like there's so much weight underneath that foot, I didn't even realize it. So big key for this drill is just having some push off of this tape or iPad, whatever you have down there, pushing off to when the club is parallel to the ground. Now we have an ability to talk about the second part, which is be able to get back onto that lead side.
You can stay in there. Let's move that tape out. And guys, obviously, I love that you give yourself the hardest lie in the world. So when you're doing that drill, right, that's just a drill to get a feel. Okay, it's just a drill to get a feel. Any object underneath your lead foot. Now, JT, let's take your setup again, and let's say the player gets the early pressure shift. Like, okay, cool, I get that. two things. If you do that, number one, if you look from face on, if we were to like have a line or a wall by JT's right hip,
Yep.
we're not saying shift the pressure, do a bad sway, too much
Yep.
sway, and go way that way with the pelvis. That's not
Yep.
what we're saying.
No.
We're saying if there's a wall here, his pelvis is still staying, if there's any motion this way, it's minor,
Yep.
and it's very early, he's not, do a good one.
Yep.
So the trail hip's staying pretty much right on that line. The hip's staying inside the ankle as he's doing this on the way back. But from that spot, JT, how do the hips sort of incorporate into getting the pressure back forward?
Yeah, so this is really important too. So we know that the pressure shift looks like one where we shift to the right early and then we shift back to the lead side. As you mentioned, Eric, it's not so much of a big sway this way and a big sway this way. That's what we see when most people try and start this. They go, okay, I need to shift off the ball and then slide all the way back to the ball. No good.
Right.
How we want to get the pressure back to the lead side actually just comes from rotation. Just how you put that, alignment stick up against my trail hip here. After we do this initial part where the club is parallel to the ground, the way that I'm going to recenter is I'm going to turn my trail hip. And as I turn my trail hip, that begins to put pressure on that lead leg.
So if we do just the takeaway,
yep.
So the pressure is shifting, but not a ton of mass movement to the right. But now, go ahead from there kind of into the early downswing. See how that hip gets farther away from that wall,
yep.
and it'll continue getting farther away as he rotates through during the downswing.
Yep.
So there is like a good amount as you're shifting weight of mass movement of the pelvis forward on the way down,
yep.
but we don't want that as much on the way back.
Yes.
So if we put that together with a practice swing, and we were kind of to feel that, it's like unweight the lead foot early, and then get the hips working back forward in like the second half of the swing?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And when you get the, we want to think of it a little bit of a coupled motion to where once we unweight the leg, as soon as we start turning that hip, we start shifting the weight. So that kind of is what helps us make this a flowing motion where it doesn't feel like, okay, this, then that, then,
yeah, okay.
We always want something to be going together. So that early shift on that right leg, again, I can almost lift my foot up here pretty easily.
Yep.
Notice that. And then as I finish this backswing, turning my hip, and now I can almost lift up my right foot because there's so much weight on this lead
Interesting,
side.
okay.
So,
and when the hips are going forward, JT, because people will say, okay, is it more like, is it sort of like a falling into the lead side? People are like, hey, is it a push off the right? I like to sort of see a little bit more falling into the lead side early. What do you like with that?
yes, for sure. So I definitely like to see or feel like a falling perspective. That's why, again, it's good to have this unweighting, because in order to not have weight on it, you kind of have to be up in the air off of this leg, so that you can kind of drop back into it.
And you know what's good to bring up the AMG again too, in their video, Mike talked about, hey, if I was gonna jump vertical towards a hoop, I wouldn't stay where I'm at and then jump from there. I would move away from the hooper target and then go up this way. Same idea. We know we want to be able to shift forward on the way down. It's easier to get it going forward if we have some away early.
Exactly.
And then falling into the lead side. JT, why don't you hit one more out?
Yep.
And you could just do your normal swing. I mean, you do this all very naturally. So not a lot of thought, just kind of a normal hit, and we can watch. Yeah, I mean, beautiful motion. Excellent strike. We're all looking to hit the ball semi like that. Let me hop in there and try that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we know in the swing that we want to get the weight this way, right? We know that. The question is like the timing. What do we do on the way back, and then how do we get there?
Yes.
And so if you guys are practicing this, that unweighting of the lead foot I think is big. Using the tape or an object underneath the foot really helps you allow that feel of a little bit this way early, and then from there. It's sort of interesting, an earlier video we did on early extension, where you said, hey, Eric, from here, I'm kind of getting the hip depth.
Yeah.
And it's really that same timing that I'm getting the depth, the turn, the forward all in one shot.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like a big time in the swing there.
Big coupled motion, yes.
Kind of halfway back. So here, the hips are starting to go forward. And then obviously, anytime I finish, I'm going to feel like my trail foot is almost fully unweighted.
Yeah.
Almost 100% of my weight's going to be on my lead foot. I think that's the simple part. So let me hit one with that. A little bit of unweighting of the lead foot early, and then getting that hip depth and towards the target, sort of working back around from there to the top. Unweighting early. Yeah, and that feels really good for me too.
Yeah, really nice.
So hopefully you guys can see that. I think obviously, there's a lot of stuff on weight shift. You would see good players start kind of neutral. Their body appears to stay fairly centered, but there's some pressure shifting off for sure, which makes it easy to shift forward. We're saying the timing is key.
Timing's so key.
Timing's key. And the falling forward that you get comes a lot from the
Rotation.
the hips.
Exactly.
Quick 20-second thing here. Same with driver, different with driver?
A little different with driver. You guys notice, you know, you see drivers on the PGA Tour all the time. You'll see their head almost be like way behind the ball, backing up a little bit into the ball.
Yeah.
So the only difference with driver or longer club, you're trying to hit it a little bit less down, is once you kind of land back on that lead side, you're pushing back and up so you can throw the club head, release all of that energy out, hit it way up in the air.
Okay. So a little different, maybe something we can do more in a future video.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like that. I like that simple drill, some simple concepts, some weight shift pieces. I think that adds a layer onto some of the obvious things that we know. If you guys have any questions about this, leave a comment down below. Check out that AMG video. That AMG video, similar topic and title, very, very good. Consider clicking that like button, sharing with a friend. Appreciate you guys watching.